Music. It's the love of music that brings us together. The love of music that forms the bond between us. For the next hour, join us for the love of music, presenting those aspects of music which excite, provoke, and inspire. Our host today is David Dubal, WNCN music director, pianist, educator, and writer on music. Here is David Dubal for the love of music.
It is more than a privilege, it's a great honor to have as my guest one of the real legends in the world, one of the true legends, the great pianist Magda Tagliaferro. There is no need for an introduction. She is one of the great artists playing the piano. I am so pleased to have you as my guest. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and very pleased to be here with you.
You look wonderful.
Oh, it's too kind to you to say that.
That is not kindness. Today, the 10th of October, you are playing one of those very difficult, wonderful programs at Carnegie Hall. Last year you played for the first time here, I think, since 1940, and everyone has missed you. You made indeed a tremendous sensation, and you played one of your specialties, the Carnaval, among many French composers, and you played the Chopin F minor ballade, and we'll hear that today on this program. This time you'll be playing, Madame Tagliaferro, what work?
The first number is Schumann, Romance, and Kinderscenen.
How wonderful.
After that, 5 preludes of Debussy.
After intermission, the Chopin Sonata.
Yes, Opus 58.
Yes, the third piano sonata in B minor.
The last one.
Yes. I can't wait to hear that, and I will be hearing it tonight, and you'll be playing it tonight. What was musical life like in Brazil, where you grew up?
Oh, it was just a little poor. But my father made many, many things for the people there, because he was a pianist and singer. He was a great pedagogue.
So your father is your first important teacher, and
certainly.
Yes.
I was 5 when I began, and until 3rd years,
you studied with him.
I studied with him.
Yes. Now, am I correct in thinking, because when I saw you play, I never heard any technique more natural. I think you were, frankly, born to play the piano.
Exactly.
Yes.
You are right.
You were playing from the beginning, and
Yes.
it's so natural, it's like breathing for you.
Yes.
Because your technique is so natural. I said to my neighbor, I said, I just can't believe that you have had to practice 8 hours a day every day of your life. It comes easy, right?
Yes, I practice very much, but always with a musical idea, much more than the technique.
Yes.
Because the technique is necessary, certainly, but it will not be the
end all with you,
Yes,
the technique.
yes.
The music is what counts.
Yes, this is important.
What prevented you from coming to the United States for all of those years? You deprived this whole country of your great pianism.
It's because I thought that I wasn't a pianist for America. I don't know. I was wrong. When you are young, you made a mistake. When you are aged, too, you made 2 mistakes.
Why did you feel that?
I don't know why. Perhaps because when I came for the first time in 14, the mentality was much more commercial,
Yes.
The music was too commercial.
I see.
And now it is different.
You were a more intimate artist than what America was used to.
I had a magnificent surprise when I came last year.
Oh.
I find the public, the city, I was fascinated, and I am also fascinated.
Well, America has grown musically quite a bit since 1914.
Yes.
So now we're ready for you.
Certainly.
Debussy, Fauré, the French masters are very close to you. You really grew up with that music fresh on the stand, so to speak. Those pieces were born while you were even knowing the composers. Did you know Fauré?
Yes, I was 14 when I know Fauré. He was one of the most important personages in my life, because he was so kind, he was so clever. And he asked me when I was 16 if I wanted to tour with him in France. And I did. Naturally, I was very proud because I was young. It was a program only for he, with a singer, with a violinist. He played everything, but I played alone
The solo
2 or
pieces.
3 pieces,
Yes.
and the ballad.
The great ballade. In the
accompanied.
solo version.
Yes, he played the second piano.
Oh, I
you
see,
know?
yes. Was he a good pianist? for
No,
it?
no,
Not
absolutely,
really.
no.
But very musical.
Oh, terrible music.
Now,
And he has eyes with a dream, you know.
oh, you love that man. No,
yes. He
Now-
was old
Yes.
when I knew him.
Did you know Debussy?
No, he
But-
was very ill, you know, when I could be introduced.
Your performances of his music, though, are just wonderful, and if you would not mind, I would like our audience now to hear The Joyous Island in your performance, L'Île Joyeuse.
Yes.
Let's hear it. That was the legendary Magda Tagliaferro, my guest today, who will be playing tonight in Debussy's L'Île Joyeuse, in a performance that, my God, we don't get to hear piano playing like that. And after this message, I will be back with my honored guest, Magda Tagliaferro. Tonight, Tagliaferro will play a wonderful program at Carnegie Hall. It will no doubt be sold out, but I hope everybody in New York gets there if they live in Bronx, Staten Island, and all of the boroughs. You know all of our boroughs? 9 million people this city has. I don't expect 9 million people, Magda Tagliaferro, to be there, but I hope every musical person in New York comes, because you are a kind of music making that is seldom heard today. It's so poetical. I think that word, which has become old-fashioned, poetical, works indeed for the way you play the Romantic literature. Is it true that you studied with Cortot?
Oh, yes, for many, many years. I started when I was 14, and all my life I studied with him, you know, all his life.
Yes. Well, he was one of the remarkable musical minds of all time.
Oh, he was a personnage.
Yes.
In French you say that. Very, very special man, you know. Terribly clever, and with a musical imagination tremendous. And he opened my imagination. This is what he did the best, much more than playing like that or like that. Finally, he always told me, well, play that than you want to play, you know. He was extraordinary, a musician, and he was a man with whom you can speak about everything. When I was 14, my friends were Cortot, Casals, Thibault, you know.
That great trio.
I played tennis with them.
Oh.
Yes.
Cortot was a pianist like you, really. He had great flights of imagination. He brought out inner voices. He was, as you are, a great personality in the music. You find in the notes something more than mere notes, and that was Cortot.
Oh, certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
You now began a competition, am I correct?
Yes, but not now, some years before. But then I hadn't sufficient money for that. You know, it's very expensive. And he was international. And it's very hard to do it all the time. You have too much to do for that. And I hadn't time, you know.
Sure. Now, you are a great performer of Schumann's music. And last year, the audience went wild with your Carnaval, so full of fancy. Schumann is a composer, of course, that Cortot played divinely. He must have given you wonderful thoughts about it, because your Schumann is just invincible. I think Harold Schoenberg in the Times said he hadn't heard anything like that since Rachmaninoff.
Yes.
He is a composer dear to your heart, then.
Yes, yes, oh, and entirely.
Do you mind hearing, you played it as an encore last season, the little intermezzo in E-flat minor from Schumann's Carnival Scenes in Vienna?
Yes,
May we hear that?
Yes, please.
Good. lovely intermezzo in E-flat minor from the Faschingsschwank of Schumann in the hands of Magda Tagliaferro, who, while we were listening to it, said, "It's a song, it's a song." Now, after this message, I will be right back. A composer that is seldom played in America, who had a certain vogue many, many years ago, and a composer I think that's very dear to you is Rinaldo Hahn. Who is Rinaldo Hahn? How did you come to know him? How did he dedicate his piano concerto to you? And if you don't mind, we also will play some of the Hahn concerto because it's charming.
Yes, I know him when I was 25. And immediately we were a great friend, because he was very sensitive. He enjoyed the life, and he was a very charming man. Oh, he was extraordinary. He also had a very great importance in my life. Sometimes I was each day to see him when he was composing. Mm-hmm. And one day I arrived, and he says, "I am composing a concerto for you. And you will know what I will put in it for your left hand. You will think about me." And it was a reality because some passage very difficult for the left hand. What can I say about him?
His music is charming. It has a certain flavor. Where was he born? He wasn't a Frenchman, really, was he?
No, his father was German.
I see.
And his mother, Venezuelan.
Yes.
He was born in Venezuela, but he came in Paris very young, and he stayed for his life.
Let's hear the first movement of that piano concerto composed for you. It's dedicated to you. And this is a very wonderful recording because not only is Magda Tagliaferro the soloist, the composer himself is conducting. What a delicious work. That was the improvisation, the first movement of the Rinaldo Hahn Piano Concerto, played by my guest, Magda Tagliaferro, and with the late composer himself conducting. Magda Tagliaferro will be playing tonight a very difficult program, and also on October 29th at Alice Tully Hall she'll be playing the Fauré Ballade and the Schumann A Minor Concerto with Musica Terna, Frederick Waldman conducting. So we have 2 New York appearances, one tonight and one later in the month. Do you like playing with orchestra or solo? Which do you prefer?
Both.
They're all natural to you.
Yes, it is a different thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I am pleased with all of them.
I can't wait to hear you do the Fauré Ballade and the Schumann. After this message, I will be back with Magda Tagliaferro. Do you yourself teach?
Oh, yes. I thought some years ago that it was not right not to transmit the experience all my life, you know, the great experience. Then one day Cortot says to me, I have to be out for a week. Then he asked me to do master's classes.
Yes.
And I said, but I never teach. It was impossible. Yes, you will do it very well. A public master class, you know. And I did 3 of them. And it was an idea. During the war, when I stayed in Brazil, I started these master's classes. The Brazilian government engaged me for that. I stayed 9 years during the war, and after the war, it was impossible to live immediately. And I work for the young people, you know, with speaking, with examples. And now it is a half of my life. I play and I am teaching.
Do you think there is, for instance, a French kind of piano playing, and a German kind, a Russian kind?
Yes, certainly, certainly. I think the mentality changed, you know, and the teachers too. It is one manner to play in France and another one in Russian, in German. Yes, certainly. I can't understand exactly why, but I think the mood of everybody, you know, it's different.
Yes, in many ways you're a French pianist, of course, with the repertory and so forth. I doubt that a Russian or a German pianist would play the Hahn concerto with the same kind of style you would.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Perhaps.
When you were first in America, 1914 or 15, who were the great pianists of that time that made a great effect on you besides Cortot?
Oh,
Rachmaninoff?
certainly Rachmaninoff first, perhaps, you know, and Horowitz.
Horowitz, yes.
He was starting,
Yes.
and he was extraordinary.
Yeah. And Rubinstein?
Rubinstein, certainly, and Hoffman, too.
And was Arau getting going then?
Yes,
by then?
after Arau. I admire Arau very much, and I am near his technique, you know.
The Arau.
Arau, Claudio Arau.
Mm-hmm. And he was a
I have
Chilean.
the honor to know that he says I am near his mind, you know.
That you're sympathetic.
By the technique.
Yes.
And he sends to me pupils, you know, in Paris.
Arau is a great artist, and he continues to play everywhere in the world. Now, to conclude, we are going to play one of your very special works, the Fourth Ballade, the most beautiful, perhaps, and certainly one of the most difficult works, the Chopin Ballade in F minor. How about hearing that with me now?
Yes, if you like.
Okay. That was the ballade in F minor of Chopin, the last of the four ballades of that composer, in the loving hands of Magda Tagliaferro, who is my guest today and who plays tonight at Carnegie Hall, and she will have on that program the Chopin B minor sonata. Do you have any final words for your New York audience today?
Certainly. I want to say how happy I am to be here for the second time, not for the third, but in reality these 2 years were for me an experience extraordinary. I am fascinated by the United States, and the people are so kind. They received me so kindly that I am emotioned, you know.
Oh,
yes.
Wonderful. Magda Tagliaferro, have a wonderful concert tour of the United States. I want to see you very soon, and I want to have many more of your recordings in the WNCN studios. Thank you for coming.
I thank you to receive me.
And thank you for listening. This is David Dubal.
For the Love of Music, with today's host, David Dubal, WNCN Music Director. We hope you'll be with us when once again we meet to listen and exchange ideas, all for the love of music. For the Love of Music is produced by WNCN New York, GAF Broadcasting Company.